Hello everybody, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have a tutorial for you how to make a simple but sweet, I think, journal. And this is Christmas themed, but it could definitely go any old theme you would like. And I love it. I'm hoping to make a few more of these. I think these are really cool. So it uses the Cinch binding system. If you don't have a Cinch machine, or if you're not interested in it at all, you can still do this this style journal by using just a ring binder or rings binding system. So you could just do 3 rings and just have your hole puncher and punch those all with 3 holes only. But very easy to adjust to that method too. So not to worry if you don't have a binding machine. I haven't used it for a couple years. My granddaughter and I made notebooks one year for a craft show, and I haven't really used it since, I don't believe. So it was kind of fun to get that out and try it again. So this tassel is removable, and I just attached it onto a lobster clasp, and so that just is attached to the ring there. It's kind of a free-floating tassel, and the covers are made out of file folder, and I have 4 dividers in here, and these dividers are made with file folders as well. So in between each file folder section is 10 sheets of paper, so that's 20 sides, and just kind of a nice sized journal for your hands. It's about 5.5 by 7.5. So on the inside, I kept the pages pretty plain, except for I did some stenciling. I have some colored pages from synthetic dyes, or I've got some avocado stained papers. So I did do a few trims on the edges, and some fabric tabs at the top, but for the most part, it's pretty plain. I did put pockets and different tuck spots and different things on the dividers and on the inside of the front and back covers. So this is the inside of the front cover, and then each divider is decorated on both sides with some sort of a ephemera holder type thing. Let me see if I can find some more pages that are a little bit more interesting. Maybe I should set the thing down. So see what I mean? Just a few pages of stenciling. But I tried to keep the pages nice and flat, so it wouldn't get, to be a ginormous book, but something very easy that you could jot notes in or keep receipts in, or that type of a thing. So I just tore a tree shape, and that became a tuck spot there. Each of the tabs has a charm hanging from it, so I've got little envelopes and different things. It is not too late. I could add, because I had been thinking about attaching an envelope in here, like in each section. I was going to maybe attach an envelope as another little like tuck spot, so I might still do that, and it's not too late for me to do that. I can slip those in there, I think. Anyway, that's it. So grab some file folders and let's get going. Alright, so all set here. I decided on instead of making my book like this, like a portrait, I decided to make it landscape. So it's the same size, 5.5 by 7.5, and I just decided to make the covers green and the inside cream colored, but any color you'd like for your file folders is perfect. So I decided on 2 dividers. And also, I wanted to say, you don't need dividers. For some reason, that style just sort of appealed to me. So I thought it was kind of fun to keep the pages plain-ish and then decorate the dividers to almost be like mini ephemera holders. I just thought that was kind of a fun style. So I just went ahead and did that as well. What I also did was I kind of prefer to have rounded corners, so I just rounded them just barely. If you do sort of a deep rounded corner, you'll probably need to either make your pages shorter or round all your pages as well so they all match. Okay, so I've got my file folders cut and I rounded my 2 outside corners. Now you can punch the holes now, or you can punch holes after you decorate. So this one, and actually I think I am going to decorate these before I punch holes, because I'm giving my spine area here, I'm giving it more strength. So you can see on this side, the cardstock, and I do recommend cardstock. It'll make your cover thicker and stronger. So I do kind of recommend cardstock for the decorating, at least the back page. So this back page here is close to the edge, and so the holes will go right through both layers. On this one, I double checked it, and I'm only going to be punching through about half of this top one, but it's okay because I've got 2 layers back here. But I would prefer it if I would have glued that on a little closer to the edge over this way to make it a stronger hole, but I think it'll work just fine. So I actually prefer decorating these before I punch, but I did want to just go over the punching with you real quick. So if you don't have a cinch machine, just get your hole puncher, and so if you have one of those long 3-hole punches, I don't think I have one in my craft room. Just set the holes so that they, are evenly spaced here on your spine area, and then just punch all of them the same. Make sure that all your edges are lined up, and it's going to be the same for each page and each divider and each cover. So, and then you would use, let's see, I kept out a ring. I did a ring project. So these types of rings are perfect for your binding if you don't have a cinch machine. So just use your multiple punch, or make a template with 3 holes spaced, or however many holes spaced how you want them, and then just draw a circle and punch it one at a time if you don't have anything else. But would highly recommend a punch that can do more than 1 hole at a time. And this is also a wonderful way to do it, and it's kind of a fun, interesting punch, and you can do lots of fun journals with that, and notebooks. So these rings here, they just go through the hole, and then you put all your pages on it, and then you just clamp it shut again. So these are super nice for this kind of project as well. And I've made books with these too before, specifically I think it was a little golden book journal, so that was fun. All right, hey, I thought I'd jump in real quick. I've already filmed the video, but when I watched it again, I realized that I didn't mention sizing of the papers versus the covers. So usually when we make a book, the pages are smaller than the cover, and so this is the way I made this Christmas one. The pages are not as tall as the cover, and they're not as wide as the cover. So, and that works perfectly fine over here. It does make it a little bit more complicated when it comes to doing the spine. You're going to wind up with the top being almost exactly the same, and then the bottom is going to look a little different. So the bottom, you can see my pages are shorter down here, and and that's no big deal, but you will have to kind of realize that the top is going to actually come right up to the top of the book, and this is where you're going to have your little bit of wiggle room down here. And this is going to look different too. if I punched one more hole, it would be perfect for the cover, but if I punched one more hole in the paper, it would be too close to the edge and it would have a tendency to rip. So it's going to look a little different down here when you make your pages smaller than your covers. So I just thought I'd mention that. The edges, as I mentioned already, the edges on this side don't make any difference at all. You can make them shorter. You could even make it even shorter if you'd want to. I mean, that's pretty far, but you know what I mean. You could make them shorter. So this is the dividers as well. I have the dividers as a little bit bigger, the same size as the cover, and then the pages in the middle are smaller. So you do have to think about it just a little bit, but the key to that is just to make the same number of holes and always start on the same side. So if you're punching, always have your paper or covers starting on the same side. So just punch uniformly is what I'm saying. So this one is not completed yet in the next part of the video, but like I said, I'm just jumping in here. So I made this one differently. I made the pages the exact same size as the covers and the dividers. So you can see it looks different. They're totally equal, top and bottom. And on the sides too. The edges are all even. So it gives it a little bit different look, but they're both perfectly fine, and I just thought I'd jump in and let you know there is a little bit of difference. And you just have to think a little bit harder when you're making your pages smaller, but it can still work. So let's just go ahead and finish the rest of the video. Okay, but we're going to go over how to do the holes with the cinch. So I did a sample here. This is exactly 5.5 inches, and I was able to just punch it, and it worked out really well. So I think from experience from using this, your covers or your covers and pages, your book will do better if you do every 1/2 inch increments. So don't go 7¼ inches. Make sure you do 7.5 inches or 7 inches. So your increments in the size of your paper should be with 1/2 inches. That seems to work the best with these because then the holes are centered. Otherwise you're going to have a short edge here, and then this edge is going to be longer, and it doesn't look as nice. It's certainly, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but if you want them centered like this, if you work in 1/2 inch increments, it works better. All right, so I did my sample, which is very important. So you make sure that you're all good before you actually come and do your project. So also I wanted to mention, so I prefer decorating before I punch the holes, but you do not have to. You can do it however you like. But one thing I do take note of is when I put any decorations over the top, I have to make sure that it's 1/2 inch away from the spine. Otherwise, for example, on this one, if I put this pocket too close to this edge, then the holes are going to punch through the pocket, which is, again, it's probably not that big of a deal, but it's kind of nice to have the pocket intact and the size that you want it. So for example, on this one, it is about 1/2 inch away, and I know those holes will come before it reaches the pocket. So that is one thing about decorating it ahead of time. You could just put your background papers on and then punch the holes and then decorate this later. So you could do it that way. So let's get started. So this has a safety, what you call clamp, I guess, or a hook. Whoops, sorry about that. I did not mean to let that happen. And as you can see, it's spring-loaded, right? And this is the handle that you push down in order to punch the holes. So the bad part about filming that is that I have to sort of hold it like this so you can see what I'm talking about when it comes to the pegs and the measuring tools here. So I'm going to try to hold this at an angle so you can see it. So we've got pegs here, and when you pull a peg out, it won't punch that area. So for example, if I just wanted 3, and then these 2 in between are still pushed in, and these 2 in between are still pushed in. Then you're going to get, oh boy, now I need some paper. Let's see. Now you're going to get holes that look like this, where there was a space here and a space here. Now I forgot to do anything with those, but this is what it would look like. So that's cool too, isn't it? That's cool. That won't work with your binding strips like this. This won't work with your binding strips, but it'll work for different rings that you have. So I think that's a cool look. Okay, so that, just wanted to show you that when you pull those out, it doesn't punch a hole. Okay, so the way to do this, there are two ways. If you have a book longer than 6 inches, which mostly I think that would be normal, right? If it's longer than 6 inches, then it's different than if it's 6 inches or smaller. So this is smaller than 6 inches, and it's 5.5, so it's going to be perfect. The instruction booklet has a little chart here. So my book is 5.5 inches. Here's 5 and here's 6, right? This says pull out peg number 10. It's a little chart that tells you which pegs to pull out so you don't punch on the corner and get like a half a circle. So my book is 5.5. So 5 inches, you pull out peg number 10. 6 inches, you pull out peg number 12. So I figured I had 5.5. That means I pull out peg number 11. That's what I figured. So, and it worked. So what I'm going to do here before I punch is pull out peg number 11. Okay. What you do next is you line up and always start, if you're going to start at the top on this edge, always start at the top on that edge. But if you're going to start at the bottom and on every single page and every single cover, whatever you have. So what you do, this is a sliding ruler. The ruler will be all the way in. I'm going to start at the bottom, meaning starting right here. And I pulled out my peg number 11. The rest of them are all punched in. And also another thing I wanted to tell you is the way this is designed, some are going to go down faster than others, and it's just the way it is. Okay. Well, I have a tendency to want to hold this, but you can't because this handle gets in the way. So I pulled out my peg number 11. I'm going to set this down and just punch it, and you'll see that I have nice and evenly spaced holes. Okay, like that. And I'm going to do every single page that way, every single cover, but I want to decorate these first. That's just the way I do it. You don't have to do it that way. Also, regarding decorating the covers, I don't sew this directly on to the file folder. I sew my decoration at the sewing machine and then bring it over here and glue it. And the reason why is I don't want the perforation of the cover to sort of weaken the cover. So I'll just go ahead and sew my paper. You don't have to sew if you don't want to, but I generally like to do that. So I'll sew my decoration first, then I'll come over and glue it on. Okay, that's just another little note. I think that it helps your cover stay stronger. All right, the other thing I wanted to mention, oh, I should show you too, if you have a book that's longer than 6 inches, it's totally different. So I'm gonna just pretend this is my book spine right here, and I am going to punch. So I'm gonna look at my little chart again. All right, so let's say I have 11 inches. This is how you do it, and you're supposed to pull peg number 10, but you don't do it on the first step, you do it on the second step. So let me see. What did I say? 10 inches? so I'm going to cut off this section right here. Here's my spine, 10 inches. So the first thing you do, make sure all your pegs are pushed in because we want to do the holes. Okay, you're going to bring this over, push it all the way to the back. There's a good look at how deep it goes. It goes that deep, and you're pushing your page all the way to that back till it hits the back, and then you're going to just punch. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our chart, and it said for a 10-inch book, we need to pull peg number 8. Now you don't just pull number 8 and then punch. What you have to do is, first of all, bring this sliding ruler all the way as far as you can. All right, then we're going to take the holes that we already made, the second one in, this one right here. Oops, my finger's shaking. This one right here. We're going to secure that before we punch anything, okay? So I'm going to show you over here now. Right here is kind of an anchoring peg, and we're going to take the second hole, this one right here. We're going to put that in the anchoring, in the anchoring peg. Not the last hole we made, but the second. And we're going to push that anchoring peg down. And that's going to hold our paper, okay? Then we go to our chart and pull peg number 8, just like it says right there. So over here, these are numbered. This is number 8. We don't even have to worry about these because those aren't even going to affect our paper. So it said to pull number 8, which I did. If I didn't, I would have just like a little half moon cut. Now, line this up as straight as you can. Okay, and then go ahead and punch down. Pull up the peg, otherwise you're going to rip your paper. And then we've got our 10-inch spine all punched. Okay. All right, so that's a little bit about the cinch. Now I'm going to secure this handle real quick. And now I'm going to get my pages together, and I'll show you how to put the ring binder on. I also wanted to show you, I'm putting some smaller items in, so it's not as tall as a regular page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all my pegs in for now. So all the pegs are pushed in, so it's going to punch everywhere. What I'm going to do is center it. I'm not going to check the chart or anything because this is an odd size. I don't know if you can see on here. So right there's an arrow and it says center. So what I'm going to do, I could measure this too, but I'm going to eyeball that and center it and push that down and push it back as far as it goes. And then, so if you can see here and here, I would have like a half a punch. So I don't want that to punch. I'm going to pull that out. And same with this one here, it would give me a half a punch, and I don't want that. So now I've got this hole is still punched, this hole is still punched, and that'll punch a hole in between all of those. This one's pulled out. These I don't need to worry about because they're too long anyway. And same with this one over here. It's too long. Or I mean, it's not going to interfere with this page at all. So now I'm going to punch this. Like I said, I get in the habit of holding it with my hand. All right, and then I've got a row of punches that is pretty centered. There's plenty of room on each side. It's not going to interfere with the way the page works or anything. So I'm going to use this as a little tuck spot, and then this will be a little tuck spot as well. So I'm working on my pages. I've got my cover, and I'm putting the pages down like this when I'm done with them. And I came across my small one, which I meant to show you earlier. So I'm going to keep punching, and I'll be back. Okay, we're all punched. All punched, all the pages. I made sure they all lined up as I went and got them all punched. Okay, so now the next part, the coils come like this. And what you do is count your holes, which I think I had 13, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 13 was going the other way. So there's 10. So what you do is you count these little loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is right here. And these are the only wire cutters I have, so it took me a minute on the other one. So what you do is you have your 10, and then the other side of it is this little squared off edge, and that's where you're gonna cut, snip it off right in the center of that. So there's a little spike left on this side, a little spike left on that side. And I think I just, there we go. All right. Okay, so what we do is we hook this on with the squared off edges, and we just place that over here. There's some pegs, and we just lay that on there like that, so that the smaller ends are poking up like this, and that's where we're going to put our pages. Okay, so this sounds a little weird, but the first thing to do is to put your back cover outside and lay it on top of the outside of the front cover like this, and then the rest, and then all the pages are going to go on just like this. Okay, so you can, let's see, I'm trying to think. Okay, so you can put, I think the easiest way is just to lay this upside down, and I'll start showing you. Now the reason why those two covers go together like that, see, I'm taking several sheets at a time and laying them down, except now when it comes to those little short sheets, I want to make sure I didn't get one in here. Those have to go on separately, because if they slip, you have them lined up, but if they slip over, it's going to look like they don't line up. Like this one. So we're going to have to put it, well, we can put it however we want here. I think I'll just totally center it like that. Same with this one. We can put it up, down. Actually, I think I'm going to put a couple sheets before I put that in there. I'm going to put it more towards that end. Okay, etc. All right, all set. Got them all in there. So as you can see, we have the back cover outside facing the outside of the front cover, like that. All right, now, so this is just like a second hand. This is all this is just helping you thread those through. Then the cinch part of this is over this way. So this is a 1-inch ring. This was a 1 1/4 inch ring, and you can see there's quite a bit of room for expansion on there. that was the hardest thing for me to judge, is how big the rings should be, because you can't smash it together and try it out or anything like that. You have to sort of take it, you know, it's in an odd shape until we smash it together, so it's just hard to figure out. Anyway, before we do this though, I am going to show you, so we had that wire right here that we snipped off, and there's another one on the other side. So you just have to take a little needle nose plier, jewelry plier, and bend that down. I just make sort of a little loop with it, but we don't want that poking into anybody's fingers. So that's all I do to it. I make it a little loop like that. And that probably should be done before the pages go on, but that's all right. We'll deal. All right, we'll see if that works. Okay, so now we still have it looped in. So as I was saying, this is a 1-inch ring, and here are some little marks on here. So we're not done with this machine yet, right? Here's some little marks here that say 5/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch, etc. So the coils come in different sizes, and this is a 1 inch. So you push this in until this little indicator goes back to 1. So now it's lined up with the 1. I need to get the handle back up. Okay, and then the edges, like this edge here and this edge here, those get butted up against the back. And once again, I'm going to show this to you on the side. The back of the press, I guess you'd call it. So in other words, I'm going to line it up like that. Can you see that? So that the edges of those coils are right up against the back of that. And then just press this handle all the way down. Because we have it set at 1 inch, this should be the exact right amount of pressure. Okay. I have a little rogue wire, so I'm not sure what I did there, but it looked like my book was in a little crooked. So I'm just going to help it along there. All right, I'm going to try that one more time. There, I think my book is straighter now. Okay, so now, let me scooch that over a little bit. Now we have our two covers were together, right? So now when we turn this around to the back side, all of the ends of our wires are now stuck in the middle. We don't have to look at them on the top or anything like that. So now we have our book all bound and ready to go. And I've got my dividers in here. The other thing I had done, it's totally optional, is to put tabs on the side. So I think I'm going to do that again. This time I'm going to put tabs on the covers, the front and back covers, and on the two divider file folders, and sort of make it the same way in sections. So, and my back cover came off, so I am going to squish that together one more time. You can sort of pinch it too. Sometimes that works, but I will take care of that off camera. So I will come back and show you when the whole thing is done and decorated with tuck spots and pockets and everything. So I'll be back with the final product. And here's the finished project. I added a little charm dangle here on the front by putting an eyelet there in the cover. And there's the back. And I'm just going to briefly go through it. So I used miscellaneous papers, did some stenciling. I have little flashcards. And then here are the bags that were included. Punched the right size, except I made a mistake and I accidentally had too much of an overhang, so I had to sew that, but I don't think that is a problem. Alright, so this is a divider. Just eco-stained papers. Synthetic dyed. I have some digital papers in there. Here's another paper bag. So I have like a pocket on each side, and then this is a pocket as well. And then last set of pages. Here's another divider. Put a see-through pocket here, a different facing pocket there, and then the last group of papers are here. And then this is the inside of the back cover with the tuck spot there. So altogether, I used the rings I used for this one were the 1-inch rings, and I think they're just a tad bit too small. See how it kind of puffs out a little bit on the end? But I also have included 3 paper bags, which does add to the bulk of the book. So, and this one just has 2 dividers, and I think there are, as far as sheets of paper, there are 36 sheets of paper here. So, and then this was the other one with the bigger binding rings. And these bigger binding rings must not be the latest. When I looked, I tried to shop local, and all I could find were the 5/8 inch binding rings, no matter where I looked. I looked at 3 different places. Well, actually, I looked a little bit more than that because I looked in different parts of town. So the 5/8 inch rings were the only ones I could find. So I did have to order these online. I think it was scrapbook.com maybe that had them. So I am super happy with these. And tell me what you think in the comments. Do you like the cinch bound books? Do you like that? More of a notebook style? Just let me know. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. And I think that's it for today, guys. I am going to be putting these in our Etsy shop, so if you're interested, take a look over there and see if they interest you at all. But I especially like the Christmas one. I might put some more, I might put some things, I know it's a little awkward to sew still, but I think I might put some lace, a few things of lace on the sides of this one. So it is, I would say 99% done, almost done. Take care, guys. Have a great week, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.